Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julian Mira Cortez, and I'm here to give you a presentation about neighborhood crimes on the rise. Thank you, all the families, for coming, all your single parents, families with kids, and this presentation is to help you understand why crimes on your neighborhood are so important to understand and what things can be done to reduce or stop this criminal activity around your neighborhood. So I'm going to give you a little bit about my background, and I'm also going to show you a few statistics about neighborhood crimes, just so you can understand and get a better idea of what the criminal activities in your communities are and how they happen and stuff like that. I'm also going to give you a few of the concerns that our neighborhood communities have, so you can see what, if you've never been through something, through someone breaking into your home or someone doing any type of criminal activity around your community, just so you can understand what we're talking about and what we're looking at. Also, some of the things that you could do for prevention, so how to prevent neighborhood crimes, and then also a few safeties for families with kids, because kids are a major target for all the criminals out there that are trying to break into your home or do any kind of criminal act against you or your family. Also, there are a lot of people that don't know how to prevent or where to go to, so I'm going to explain to you how to seek help. And then also at the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you a summary about what we went through. Okay, so a little bit about myself. My name is Julian Mira Cortez, and I was born in Colombia. I moved to the United States when I was about 12 years old, and then I decided to join the military after I graduated high school. In the military, I've been around in the military for about 8 years, and I enrolled in Post University for a bachelor's in criminal justice. This is about I have about 2 or 3 more classes left to graduate, and hope to give you some information, some important information about neighborhood crimes in this presentation. There's my email in case any of you guys have any questions. You could just email me and I'll be happy to answer you. So, neighborhood crime statistics. So for your statistics, a burglary happens about every 13 seconds in the United States, which means that by the time I'm done with one of these slides, about 3 more homes in the United States are going to be broken into. So this is very important for you to understand that one of these homes could be your home. When you're awake, when you're at work, when you're out on vacation, when you're with your family in a restaurant. So this is why it's very important for you to understand what can you do to prevent these things from happening. Also, assaults in your community, burglaries. If there's a person inside your house, one of your family members, your kids, maybe yourself, and somebody's trying to break into your home, things could escalate and it could turn into an assault. You could get hurt. So that's why it's very important to understand all this. It's all your statistics. Next. Concerns about neighborhood crimes. There are a lot of, unfortunately, there's no neighborhood in the United States that's completely safe. In every single neighborhood in the United States, you will find a case of a criminal breaking into someone's house, stealing something, their car got broken into. So there are a lot of citizens that are concerned about your home safety. Can I leave home? Can I go to work, and is my home gonna be safe? Are my kids gonna be safe when they're out playing in the park? Is my car or the things I have in my backyard, are they safe? Can I go on vacation and not worry about my home being broken into? Also, there are a lot of neighbors, there are a lot of people in the community that are worried about who your neighbor is. Is he a criminal? Is he one of the sexual predators that are registered, and he's living right next to my house? So these are a lot of concerns that a lot of people have in the community, and we're trying to figure out a best way to fix them and prevent all these things from happening. Prevention. So prevention is one of the most important parts about this presentation, because it teaches all of the community how to stop or reduce the criminal activity in your community, right? So one of the most important parts is building a relationship with your neighbors, knowing who your neighbors are. If you need to go on vacation or you need to go to work, you could probably have a good relationship with your neighbor, and then if something is happening, there's a suspicious activity around your home, they could always give you a call. They could always call the cops for you, and this is like having a security alarm in your home, but it's more reliable because your neighbors are watching for you. Also, be careful with your spare keys. There are a lot of people that if they need to go somewhere and they leave keys under the mat, or they leave keys in your mailbox, they leave keys somewhere around your home, and you never know if there's a criminal out there watching you, and if you leave your key maybe under your mat and he saw that, he could come and break into your home and steal your personal belongings. So that's why it's important to build a relationship with your neighbors, so in case you need to drop a key somewhere, you just leave it in your neighbor's home, and then if someone needs to come into your house, they could just come and get it from your neighbor. Also, home should always appear occupied. So if you're going on vacation, or you're going out to work, you work nights, or make sure you always leave at least a light on in your house, because it could show criminals out there that there's people in your house, and that could probably make them think that it's riskier for them to go into that house because there's a person in it, and it could probably stop them from doing any kind of criminal activities in your house. Also, keep an eye on hiding places for intruders. There's a lot of places where you have a lot of good hiding spots outside your home where a criminal could go and hide, wait for you to go to work, and then come and break into your house. So try to keep those places covered, or try to keep them, try to not have any of those places around your house, so you can stop criminals from breaking into your house. Security systems at home, they are very reliable, they work very good, because if any criminal tries to break into your house, there's a few ways that law enforcement could find out about this. For example, I have someone break into my house, and I have a security system in my house, and when they broke into it, I received a phone call from the cops. They said, "Hey, somebody just opened your home, and they don't know the code to your place. Is it you?" And I said, "No, I'm not the one at home." So within, I think it was 5 minutes, the cops were in my house, and they weren't able to steal anything. So they're very reliable to have in your house. Creating a neighborhood watch. This is one of the cheapest and more efficient ways to keep a neighborhood safe, because you build a relationship with everyone in your neighborhood. You guys all start a way or a rotation where you guys all start a way or a rotation for give me 1 second here, we're having technical difficulties. So like I was saying, it's a very good way of keeping your neighborhood safe, because you're building a relationship with everyone. And if you see any kind of suspicious activity, maybe a face that's not familiar to everyone, then you'll be able to see, or you'll be able to ask around and say, "Hey, who is this person? What's he doing in such and such house? Why is he over there trying to get into that car when that car is our neighbor's car?" So it's a very good way of keeping your neighborhood safe. So families with kids. Like I said before, kids are a major target for criminals. There are a lot of crimes that happen because kids were out playing by themselves, or you have kids that got lost and then they got found by the wrong person, And so it's very important to always know who your children are. If you're sending your children to play in the park or sending them to play with the neighbors, with a friend, you should always know who they are and where they're going to and what time they're coming back. Okay? Help children learn important phone numbers. So phone numbers, make sure your kids always know your phone number, your work's phone number, and at least a neighbor, one of your neighbors, and an emergency contact for your community, which is 911. So ensure your kids always memorize these numbers just in case they get in any kind of a bad situation with a criminal. They find a way of communicating with anyone. They always know who to dial and what to say. Okay, set limits on where your children can go. Make sure you always tell them not. Make sure you always have limits, because with children they sometimes can get they won't know if you don't let them know. They won't know how to go. Like you okay? Okay. Ah. Yeah. So get to know your children's friends. Okay, get to know your children's friends. So it is very important for you to know who your children are hanging out with, where are they sleeping, who are they playing with, because you never know if they're hanging out with the wrong neighbor and doing wrong things, and it could create more criminal activity in your neighborhood without you even knowing. Okay, and two of the most important points about this slide are the last two, which is choose a safe house in your neighborhood for your kids. So in case you're not home, or in case they cannot get back to your house in any case of a criminal act, make sure they know of a safe place to go. One of your neighbors where you know that they're gonna take care of your kids and they're gonna act as soon as they need to keep your children safe. And one of my favorite ones, which I always keep, that I always try to practice with my kids, is ensure your children have a means of communication at all times with you. So anytime my kids are gonna go out there and play in the park or play with their friends, I always give them a walkie-talkie. I have my own walkie-talkie at home, and they keep that walkie-talkie. So in any case they see any kind of suspicious activity, or they think they're in danger, they always get in contact with me. And it's also a way for them to tell you where they are at and what they are doing every time they want to change activities. So I always try to keep in contact with my kids when they're out there playing in the park with their friends and stuff. So seek help and how. As you can see in this picture, so seek help. What can help give you about neighborhood crimes? It can give you help, support, advice, guidance, and assistance. This is something that a lot of communities need to try to minimize the criminal activities in your home. Okay, you should always try to get information online about any kind of programs that your local enforcement agencies have for your neighborhoods. Okay, make sure your neighborhood has a neighborhood watch set up, and if you don't, you could always go in the NSA website and they can help you set up a neighborhood watch, and they'll guide you on how to go about setting it up, how to start training your neighbors, how to go and make sure your homes are safe, how to keep them safe, what programs you can be joining, how to get training from them. Also, you can always link in with your organizations, because there are a lot of communities that they already have neighborhood watch set up, but you might not know about because you're not involved with your community. So always go to your homeowners association and ask them if you have a neighborhood watch set up in your community so you can be a part of it. Also, your local neighborhoods, okay? Local neighborhoods, if your neighborhood doesn't have a neighborhood watch set up, you could always go to your community, to your local communities, and ask around and say, hey, listen, do you guys have a neighborhood watch? If they do, ask them how do they start it, what do they do to keep their neighborhood safe, what can they do to help you guys keep a safer community, okay? Also, your local TV crime prevention activities. If you go on your local TV channels. Sometimes they have programs where they train you on how to have a safer community. They teach you the do's and don'ts. They teach you on things, how to leave your home, never to leave your home open, about your keys, cars, how to build a relationship with your neighbors, and this will help you eventually have a safer community. Okay. Summary. So I've showed you, I've explained to you why neighborhood crimes are so important. I've shown you the statistics of why how these things happen, how often all over the United States. Okay, I've shown you the tips, prevention tips on how you can prevent your criminal activities in your neighborhood from rising, or how you can actually get them to stop eventually. Okay, keep your family safe and your belongings safe to ensure a proper neighborhood watch is created. Okay, and if you look at this picture, the best defense against crime, what do you think it is? An organized neighborhood. So if you have an organized neighborhood where everyone everyone has a relationship, everyone knows who they are, everyone knows, hey, listen, that's Carlos, that's Steven, that's Steven's car, and you know who your kids are, you know who. So if you see someone carrying your neighbor's kids, and he's not actually your neighbor, you can see, look, that's suspicious. Let's call our neighbors and find out why it is their kid with someone else. You know, this is a perfect example of the best defense of fighting crime. Okay. And if you have any questions, like the picture says, the only stupid question is the one not asked. So if you guys have any questions, you can always email me, or I'll be here to help you out anytime you have. Thank you, and you guys have a wonderful afternoon.